what I just realized? Like right now, sitting down in my little makeshift temporary studio setup here, there's no place for my tea. Well, there's a bookshelf right out here, but that wasn't really... That's gonna have to work. Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode. Today is going to be part 2 of the creating your Halloween image, or creating my Halloween image, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. So I have not actually edited the image yet. Normally when I make this kind of stuff, I usually do an edit and then kind of do an edit for myself just to see, you know, what's going to happen and everything, but I haven't done that yet. I wanted you guys to go through it with me as I'm seeing it for the first time. I mean, I've already looked at the images, but I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I don't know how much photoshopping I'm going to do, but I guarantee you there's going to be a bit of it. So let's jump in there and check out the images and get started. Alright, so we're in Bridge, and Bridge is what I use by default, and I have, like I said, I have not edited any of these images yet. Brittany edited a couple, but I'm not going to go through the whole shoulda, coulda, woulda thing because there's a lot of things I should have done or could have done that I just didn't do because of time restraints and everything else. But I do like this image here, so I think we're going to start with this one. I'm just going to double check to make sure that it's in focus, and I think that's probably as in focus as I'm going to get. So the first thing that I always do is I do chromatic aberration, remove that just in case, and I know that I shot with my Tamron 45, and I know that the Tamron 45 has a bit of chromatic aberration and that button doesn't really do much for it, so I'm going to go ahead and slide this up just a little bit just to knock anything out that may have been there. And then I'll go ahead and do the profile corrections, which in this case wasn't much, but I'll go ahead and do it anyways. So the next thing that I usually do to my images is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to check out my presets that I've made, which this is a bit of an organic plug here because I do have these new fall preset packs that I've made that are finally for sale, so you can check those out. But I'm not going to go into detail about them here because this is all about editing this image. But what I want to do here, and this is what presets are great for, is scrolling through them to really get an idea of the type of look that you may be after, and that really helps give you a starting point for the look that you want to go after. So in this case, I want something kind of like this. I want something a little bit on the spooky side, a little bit on the blues and green side, and something maybe like my City Nightscape Cool and Vibrant one. I think I actually like the natural portrait color contrast for this one. I think that's a good starting point. I do have a couple of images here in Photoshop that I've already messed with. This is just a family portrait that I won't be going over how I edited or anything, but I did kind of want to see if I can match. I don't remember what preset I used, but I can just kind of look at it and see the color tones and everything. And I'm going to kind of do my best to match that. There's a lot more of the oranges and everything and yellows in here, but I can still fix that, and I think this preset that I have it on is a good start for that. I also want it a little bit darker. I should have underexposed when I shot and then pumped the lights up a little bit more, and that would have helped reduce the ambient light, but again, shoulda, woulda, coulda. The next thing I'm going to do is fix this highlight area here, which is driving me nuts because it's way too bright and distracting. So I'm just going to kind of lower that a little bit. And I'm going to crop it, but I don't like to crop in Camera Raw. I like to crop in Photoshop. So the next thing I want to do is add a bit of clarity to her face. And normally you do not add clarity typically to portraits, well, to women portraits. Their skin tends to not handle it as well, and they tend to like a more smoother texture anyways, but this is kind of a gritty, ghoulish looking portrait, and she's wearing a lot of the makeup, so I think this will be okay because I want that kind of stuff to pop a little bit more. And then I'm just gonna bring up the exposure a little bit in the eye area here. So you can see a before and after already. It's looking, we're on our way to a good starting point, I think, or we have a good starting point, and we're on our way to a decent image. And I don't think there's too much else I want to do in here. So I think we can go ahead and take this into Photoshop. I may come back into Camera Raw later if I need to tweak anything else. So the first thing I'm definitely going to do is crop that. Let's get that bright spot out of there. And I usually prefer on portraits, vertical portraits, I usually prefer a 4x5. So that's what we have it at now. And you'll notice that really lines her eye up, which is a great compositional tool. And that makes me happy. So now we can get to work on really cleaning this image up. First I do all the cleaning stuff. I'm going to make a new layer and I'm going to call it Heal. This is usually what I do first thing to portraits is clean up the skin. Though in her case, again, because of the makeup, I don't have to deal with too much of the blemishes. So what I'm going to do is get the brush tool and I'm going to pick some colors that are next to the spots that I want to mess with, and then I'm just going to drop the opacity way down and just start smoothing out the areas that I want. And the reason I do this is because I will be dodging it and burning. I will be doing dodging and burning later on to restructure, but this takes out some of the blemishes that you don't want and just smooths out the skin a little bit. And then you can reshape the face later on with the dodge and burn tools. So you'll notice that kind of brightened up her face and flattened it out a little bit at the same time. So now we're going to make a dodge layer. And now I'm going to, with the dodge and burn tool, I can fix a little bit of this flattening and get it. See, now we can recreate her cheekbones and bring them up a bit and bring that out. Add a little more fill light on these edges. So now we've added a lot more structure back to that face and the highlights and everything, and that'll help make it pop. I'm going to dodge the bird a little bit and bring up his highlights. And then while we're on the dodge layer, I'm going to go ahead and grab the burn tool and I'm just going to darken some of this background. So I think the next thing that I want to do is maybe check out a little bit of split toning, and I already did some of that stuff that was built into the preset, but again, that was just a starting point, and I think I want to tweak it a little bit more because this is really going to be more selective. So I think that's giving that a lot better of a mood, and it took away a lot of those oranges except for the orange that I want from the light source coming onto her face. So we're keeping those tones in there a little bit, and I can probably even further that a little bit more, but I think that's a step in the right direction. So we've cooled this background off a lot. We've cooled these warm tones in the background off a lot, and I think that's helping to add to the creepiness factor or the ghoulish factor, whatever you want to call it. Oh, you know what I realized? I need to get rid of that Columbia logo. Not that ghouls can't look fashionable and have nice Columbia jackets or anything, but I think that'll just help maintain a better look without the branding. So now what I've done is made a new highlight thing, and I've inverted it so that I can now switch my brush. I'll paint in white and I can slowly reveal the highlights on her face just to warm that up, just a pinch. So that just kind of increased the color contrast a little bit between the blues and the yellows, and brought a little bit of life back to her skin tones there, even though she is technically a ghoul and she's technically undead. So I'm liking that. I think now I want to maybe add some mist and keep in theme with the other one that I did, the family portrait that I put some mist in. Make it look like a misty evening. I'm going to try this one. Let's see how this looks. So I think that's kind of where I want it. We need to do some work to that, obviously, because it's looking a little weird. Start by bringing the opacity down just a little bit. And then let's throw a mask on this guy and paint some of it out. Alright, so that's looking a little better. You'll notice that it brought up a lot the exposure and the midtones back there. So what I want to do now is try to fix that. I also want to fix the fact that the light, the mist, the light color of the mist itself needs to match more of the light source. So that's what we're going to do next. And I just want it to match this one, so I'm just going to make sure that that's selected to only, this color balance is only going to affect this thing and nothing else. Now let's see if I can fix that other stuff there. I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to group these two, and then I'm going to, with this curves, I'm going to select to make sure it only affects the group. So in this case, that's definitely darkening up the image a lot, and that's what I want in the background. That's really bringing a lot of contrast and bringing a lot of focus into the subject and cleaning that up a bit. So you can see how everything kind of got brightened up too much, and now we're bringing that down and it's looking a lot better. I think I want to add a little more contrast to the bird. Alright, well, let's see what that looks like for a comparison real quick. Let me bring this back up and I'll reset the raw settings. Open that up. Let me just crop it real quick. Alright, so there's the before and after. I think we're going to go ahead and call it good here. Alright, well, I think I'm going to call it there. I know there's a lot more that I probably could have done to it, tweaked it, but that's the thing with Photoshop. That's what I say in all my Photoshopping videos. If you've seen my other stuff like this, there's always something new you could do or something different you could do or go back and tweak. It's never ending. So I'm going to stop it here, and I'm just going to go ahead and be satisfied with just creating a nice looking, decent Halloween portrait with nothing too fancy, just a little color grading and some smoke. And I think I'm pretty happy with that, given the amount of time that I didn't spend on getting everything right and in camera, you know, with the composition and all that stuff. But that's real photography. That's how it goes, you know, and that's how my life is, just running around trying to have these last minute ideas and then seeing what you can do to them in post. Anyways, I'm rambling. My tea is on complete, like, almost empty. That needs to be fixed. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up so I can get this video out for you guys. So if you have any questions about anything that I did or didn't do regarding the photoshopping or the presets or the whole color grading, just how my mind is thinking, or anything you want to know about that kind of details, leave those in the comments below and I'll definitely answer them. If you like this stuff and you want to see more, definitely make sure you subscribe to my channel, because I've got new videos every week, and I've got a few other videos that are similar to this in Photoshop, tutorials and that kind of stuff, and I will definitely be doing more. So subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button if you really enjoyed this video, because that helps me out. I really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me with the presets and just with viewing my channel in general, just sticking around for all my ramblings. I really appreciate all of that. So thanks to you guys. Hit that like button. I'll see you in the next video.